Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, RSC friends alike. Welcome to the PreJump once again. My name is HUDx. I'm very loud right now. Might turn that down a little. It is my pleasure to be bringing the PreJump to all of you on this wonderful, wonderful Memorial Day weekend. It has been wet and stormy here in Pennsylvania, but it's kind of wet and stormy here half the time about there. And we've got some stuff to talk about. We've had 2 weeks of the season of Season 20 already come and go. We've got some things that are new to talk about, some things that are maybe a little old to talk about, old news we'll go through and kind of do a whip around of the league through these first 4 match days. First 5 match days, I suppose it is now. Can I count 13 and 3? Yeah, first 4 match days. Almost like I'm playing in the league and I should know how many we've played, but that's not that important. We have got just me on the desk for this week, giving everybody the weekend off to go spend some time with some family. I'm doing the same tomorrow, which is why we're having this on Saturday. If you hear clattering or you see animals running around in the background, no, you didn't. I'm alone in the house tonight, so they're running rampant while I do this. But enough about me. We're going to talk about our season so far a little bit here, our quarterly report, our whip around here, as it were. We're going to talk about all of our tiers, so top to bottom. We'll start with Premier and work our way down towards Amateur. It's going to be kind of quick and dirty, condensed format here. We'll take a brief look at players and stats and things like that, our leaders in each tier, as well as the teams that are starting out. But we will talk about that a little bit more, the hot starts a little bit more in our look into those hot players. So let's start out with our whip around then. Let me make sure that I've got all of my things where I want them to be. I think I do. Take a look here at our fancy sheet. And I am going to interact with this sheet right here. Found this is the best way to do this so that everybody can see it and we can have it it's not the nicest, prettiest way, but it's quick and dirty and good enough for us to get through this all. We'll start with Premier here. You can see the tier down at the bottom there, and our standings so far. The Hurricanes sole possession of first place, 14-2. Gummy Bears right behind them, 13-3, and then it's the Capos, Crooked Capos from the Syndicate, the Fairies from the Forest, Double Mint from Minty Fresh, Dapper Dolphins from the Reef, Beta Foragers from Cheese Guild, Biggest Whale from Whale Defense, Interstellar from Event Horizon, Darkness from the Shadows, Glacial Ice from the Speed Demons, and then Capybaras from the Jungle to round it all out. And you can see their records there through the first 16 games of the season, first 4 match nights. It's that early lead for the Hurricanes, but still pretty close here. Top 4 teams, top 5 teams, separated by just 4 games. No conferences or divisions in Premier, so playoff hunt's pretty simple. 4 teams tied at 5-11, so really nobody looking at a season that's out of the realm of being repaired right now in Premier. Some work to do for teams like Capybaras and Glacial Ice, but still time left to do it. We will return to talk more about Premier with our hot starts and our leaders once we come back around the horse. We're going to move on to Master now. Brief look at the table before I start just babbling on and on about it. Heinous Henchman from the Syndicate, a top tier. 1 game back is Shark Attack, the Helicoprions, at 11-5. Trailing that 12-4 record of the Heinous Henchman. Nightmare from the Shadows, Lemurs from the Jungle, and Scooters from the Quad Dynasty round out our top 5 there, all within 2 games. And then it's From Under Frauds at 9-7, leading the pack of a 5-way tie for 6th place in the tier of Master right now, all at 9-7. That's From Under Frauds from the Cheese Guild, Brazen Barracuda from the Reef, Oblivion from Event Horizon, Care Bears from the Bear Den, and Tempest from the Storm. All of that 9-7 mark. Then it's Stagnant Snails from Speed Demons, SARS from Monarchy, Glacier Mint representing Minty Fresh, Sketch Squad from the Art Club, Sperm Whales from Whale Defense, and Basilisks from the Forest, all the way down to the bottom of the table there. And our playoff picture through 4 games. Still a lot to fight for. See, from Nightmare, I mean, everybody's pretty close all the way down to Tempests, covered by a span of 3 games. So still very much in play all the way across. No real front runner for Master quite yet. And now look on to our next tier in the hierarchy. It'll be Elite. Our first 32-team tier, which means we can talk about conferences and divisions as we go through these schedules as well. See up there on top, representing one of the new franchises of the season, the Pit, is the Thrashers. They're 13-3. 2 teams at 12-4 behind them are Pylons and Cotia Cartel from Roadwork Ahead and Cheese Guild, respectively. Then we've got a whole bunch at 11-5. Great Whites from Shark Attack, Elephants from Safari, French Vanilla from Creme de Bonte, Obstinate Octopi from the Reef, and Orcas from Whale Defense, all there hanging around at 11-5. 3 teams at 10-6, Sloths from the Jungle, Stoked Blokes from Vibe Tribe, and Teddy Bears from the Bear Den. Few at 9-7, Cyclones from the Storm, Black Rose from Flower Road, Wheelchairs from the Quad Dynasty, and Producers from Production Control Room. The rest of the way down the table here at 8-8, Praetorian Guard from the Sovereign, Summoned from Destined, Ghastly Goombas from the Syndicate, Wyverns from the Forest, Despair from the Shadows, Electron from the Quantum State, Speed Demons represented by Sauntering Slugs, the Elements, and Fire there at the last team tied for 18th, the last team at 7-9. Next one, 6-10, is Event Horizon represented by Desolation. And then Gelato from 50/50 Pizzeria, Kings representing Monarchy, Ghoul School represented by Geeky Ghouls, and Vortex Vesper from 5 o'clock Nowhere, all 5-11. Penguins from Flightless Fowl, Pixel Picassos from Art Club, Demons from the Monster Mash, and Minty Fresh represented by Menthol rounds out our Elite tier. Quick look at the Solar Conference. Led in the divisions, Cloud led by Pylons, Cotia Cartel leading Ember, French Vanilla leads Mountain, and Great Whites leads Ocean for Solar. On the other side, in Lunar, Stoked Blokes atop Cloud, Orcas atop Ember, Teddy Bears across Mountain Division, and Thrashers atop of the Ocean Division. Through our first 4 match days, 16 games played. It's kind of a quarter of the way through the season here. It's a decent look at how teams have gotten off, the starts that they've gotten off to. But, once you get into these 32-team tiers, and we'll go back and look at some of our divisional breakdowns, some teams have put themselves in a really great spot to go through and have a really successful rest of the season. Other teams have got some work ahead of them because they're already in the hole as far as their division play has gone. Now we will look to our next tier, about the midway point of our whip around. It is Veteran. Ravaging Rays, the leaders in Veteran, tied atop the table with Mellow Fellows from the Vibe Tribe, both at 14-2. And then we've got 3 teams at 12-4. It's the Pushwalkers from the Quad Dynasty, Mosaic Maestros from Art Club, and Dump Trucks from Roadwork Ahead. 5 teams at 10-6. Giraffes representing Safari, Azalea from Flower Road, Gorillas from the Jungle, Makos from Shark Attack, and Water from the Elements. Another 5 at 9-7. Gouda Gangsters from the Cheese Guild, Merciless Mob from the Syndicate, Singularity from Event Horizon, Kaisers from Monarchy, and Ostriches from Flightless Fowl. Cookie Dough will be from Creme de Bonte, the first 8-8 team. There's one other, the Mean Manatees from Speed Demons. Whole bunch of 7-9 teams. Demo Reels from PCR. Peppermint from Minty Fresh. Midnight from the Shadows. Banshees representing Monster Mash. And Legati from the Sovereign. 6-10 teams. Rockin' Revenants, Typhoons, and Possessed from Ghoul School Storm and Destined. 5-11 teams, Calzones from 50/50 Pizzeria, and Paradox Paloma from 5 o'clock Nowhere. 4-12 teams, Werewolves from the Forest, the Quantum State represented by Neutrino, and Whale Defense represented by Blues. And then down at the bottom of the table, last two, the Grizzly Bears from the Bear Den and Death Metal from the Pit. Then our division races here, conferences and divisions. Solar Cloud, led by the Dump Trucks at 12-4. Ember Division from Solar, led by the Giraffes. Mosaic Maestros, rather, leading Mountain, Solar Mountain. And Gorillas and Makos tied atop the Solar Ocean Division. And on the other side, in Lunar, Mellow Fellows with a pretty strong lead in Lunar Cloud. Lunar Ember led by the Pushwalkers. Merciless Mob and Ostriches tied atop a Mountain Division on Lunar side. And Ravaging Rays with a pretty strong lead in Lunar Ocean as well. That is our veteran tier. We have not talked about amateur yet. We're working our way down the list here, just on our quick run through. It's only been 10 minutes. We're making good time. I want to keep this under an hour. We've got 9 tiers to talk about, so just trying to run through things as much as I can without glossing over things too much. But we've got Rival here on the screen. You've had a moment to look at all of the teams, or at least the ones that you can see. We'll go down our list here. Leading Rival, sole possession of first place. Number 1, Flightless Fowl, represented by the Cassowaries, 14-2. Next two teams at 13-3 are the Blizzards and the Hippos from Storm and Safari. Tardy Tortoises and Iris both at 12-4. They represent Speed Demons and Flower Road. 11-5 are the Dracos from the Forest. Polar Ice at 8-4. I'm interested to see what's going on with that 8 number, because it's not doesn't match everybody else. Maybe a forfeit in here somewhere for Rival. I won't get distracted. Monster Mash at 10-6. That's the Phantoms. Ruthless Racket 9-7. They're the first 9-7 team there, representing the Syndicate. And then it's Funk Hunks, Wind, Hammerheads, and Sultans. After the Sultans, it's the Hot Wings at 8-8. From 50-50 Pizzeria, Ghoul School sits at 6-6. I would imagine that's probably the other team with maybe some forfeits affecting their record. That's the Necrotic Nerds from Ghoul School. Ocelots at 8-8. Centurions and Ethereal Eels also at that 500 mark, 8-8. 7-9 is the Rocky Road, as well as Camera Crew, Cursed, and Photons. Then it's Timekeeper Taps, Beached Whales, Hugh Heroes, and Bulldozers. Rather, Hugh Heroes, the last 6-10 team there. Those three all at 6-10. 5-11 is the Bulldozers, Lacuna, Polar Bears, and Dread. Then it's Heavy Metal and the Asiago Arsonists at 4-12, and Quads rounding out the tier at 2-14. Solar Conference side for Rival, Solar Cloud led by Dracos. Hippos atop Solar Ember. Blizzards on top of Solar Mountain, and Polar Ice on top of Solar Ocean. This division looks all kinds of funky with what I'm assuming was a forfeit between Polar Ice and Necrotic Nerds. Seems to be, that's my uneducated guess there. Then on the other side, in Lunar for Rival, Cloud Division led by Funk Hunks. It's a tight race in Cloud Division so far. Just 2 games between all 4 teams. Lunar Ember led by Iris. Lunar Mountain led comfortably by the Cassowaries. And Lunar Ocean led by Tardy Tortoises. That will wrap up Rival. Continuing on to Challenger, a 2-2 just not reported. Okay, so that's why those look weird. They need to be reported then, and then these will look right. So Minty Fresh is a 10-6, and Ghoul School Necrotic Nerds is 8-8. That'll make all of that look much less weird. But I know that stats will get to it when they do. They did not prep this just for me. How dare they? I can't believe they've done this. Challenger. Leading the tier is Lilac from Flower Road, another one of the new rebrands this season. 13-3, their record as they sit atop the table. And then it's the Curians from the Sovereign and Slow Starfish from Speed Demons, both at 12 and 4. 3 teams at 11 and 5. Apple Associates from the Syndicate, Jock-O-Lanterns from Ghoul School, and Lions from the Safari. 10 and 6 teams, the Breadsticks from 50/50 Pizzeria, Metal from the Elements, and Hydras from the Forest. A whole bunch of 9 and 7 teams, Solstice Sake, Pygmy Sperms, Squalls, Toucans, Panda Bears, Emus, and Chromatic Chaos, all at 9 and 7. 3, 8, and 8 teams, Threshers, Void, and Zombies. Clever Clownfish, Flailers, and Spearmen, all at 7 and 9. Moose Tracks, Havarti Hustlers, Emperors, and Deceased at 6 and 10. Melodic Power and Gluons from Quantum State at 5 and 11. Then it's Jackhammers from Roadwork Ahead, Nightfall from the Shadows, and Trippy Hippies from Vive Tribe, all at 4 and 12. And Production Control Room's Talent down at the bottom of the standings at 2 and 14. Our conferences here for Challenger, I believe this is the last one with conferences. Cloud Division from the Solar side, two-way tie for first place between the Metal and the Hydras. Lions atop Solar Ember, 11 and 5. Two-way tie for Solar Mountain between the Squalls and Chromatic Chaos, 9 and 7. And the Jock-O-Lanterns in possession of first place Solar Ocean, 11 and 5. Other side of the table, Lunar Conference. Decurions leading Lunar Cloud. Ember Division led by Lilac. Apple Associates leading Mountain Division. And Lunar Ocean led by Slow Starfish. That is Challenger. You wish this was Boss K-Flip. No, he's in chat. Never mind. Hola, everyone. I just can't read. We're on Prospect now. I can actually only read one thing at a time. I'm reading Spreadsheet right now. Spreadsheet mode is all I can think of. Now that everybody's had a chance to read it before I've started to talk about it, let's get into Prospect. A number 1 team in Prospect, the Spastics from the Quad Dynasty, 13 and 3. Right behind them at 12 and 4 are the Skeletons, and then it's the Black Tips and Undead at 11 and 5. 9 and 7. Both from the Pepperoni Pizza and Hyperspace Hops. Least favorite team name on in a Prospect? Least favorite. That's a tough one. I'll give you an answer once I finish once I finish reading the rest of them. Earth is 7 and 9, the first of the 7 and 9 teams from the Elements, and then it's Honey Badgers, Punks, and Detention Demons round out that 7 and 9 group. And then the 6 and 10 group, Hard Hats from Roadwork Ahead, Kiwis from Flightless Fowl, Peony from Flower Road, Mop Tops from Vibe Tribe, Prism Proteges from Art Club, all at 6 and 10. And then the bottom of the table, Pharaohs from Monarchy at 5 and 11. And my pick for least favorite of the Prospect tier name or team names. Can I say that I don't have a least favorite and I like them all equally? It's Detention Demons because Detention bad. We'll just leave it at that. Here's our playoff hunt for the Prospect tier. You can see the 4-way tie splitting the line here between Earth, Honey Badgers, Punks, and Detention Demons. That's looking at head-to-head deciding who's in, who's out. So, or that's looking at all the tiebreakers, but head-to-head's one of them. Deciding who's in and who's out right here as we're at the quarter-way point of the season. So, definitely a tight race to keep an eye on down the stretch for the Prospect tier. And now we will head into second to last tier on our whip around, the Contender tier. Another quick one here as the we get towards the fringes of our distribution. The standing sheet splits up a little bit. Or the standing sheet just gets a little bit smaller. The teams get less teams in the tiers on the fringes. So here's Contender standings, 11 and 5. Atop the tier is Ice from the Elements. Right behind them, 2 teams, Clover from Flower Road and Rad Lads from the Vibe Tribe. Then it's Zebras and Celestial Cider, 5 o'clock Nowhere and Safari, 9 and 7. Devoured from the Destin at 6-10, Wisps from the Monster Mash at 5-11, and Cheese Pizza from 50/50 Pizzeria, rounding out Contender at 4-12. Got all of the playoff hunt there. Still lots to play for. Very much is still anybody's opportunity to make a run into the postseason at a quarter of the way through. And on to our last tier of the whip around. It's amateur. Leading the tier at 13-3 are the Hyenas. 3 games back, House Salads from 50/50 Pizzeria. Then it's Astro Amber Ales, also at 10-6 there from 5 o'clock nowhere. Aloof Goofs, 9-7. Amaranth from Flower Road at 8-8. Shadows from the Monster Mash, 5-11, along with Surprise from the Elements, and then Sacrificed from Destin to 4-12. Around that one out, and Amateur looking like the most set so far through the first 4 match days as to what our tiers or our teams going into a hypothetical if postseason started tomorrow would look like. Hierarchy is a little bit more set than we saw in some of the more medium or the middle tiers, which is kind of what to expect when you've got more teams in the middle tiers, but that's statistical analysis, and we're not here for that right now. My brain's not big enough. That is our whip around for the just a check-in on the stats and the standings. But here, as we've now kind of went through all of that, I want to talk about teams that have had hot starts, teams, players that are leading their tiers, leading their teams so far. And while I do that, I can take this thing off so you can look at my face again. I don't know why you would want to do that, but I'm going to make you do it anyways. So, hot starters, I also am going to loop in some of the work that our recognition committee has done with their Players of the Week graphics. But before we get there, I'm going to go through and talk about our leaders for each tier, maybe some points to remember for some of the tiers, some notes. Premier, we heard about Hurricanes and Gummy Bears, the top 2 teams. But the leaders in our big 3 stat categories, as in the 3 stat categories that I had time to write down for each tier. Goals leader for Premier, Gavalanche from the Dapper Dolphins. Assist leader, Greh, also from the Dapper Dolphins. And then it's Brody from the Fairies with 34 saves. Greh had 19 assists. Gavalanche had 26 saves. Master, we saw 3 games separating their top 10 teams. Heinous Henchmen and the Helicopterians, the leaders there in Master. 21 goals for Gaherpaderp from Nightmare. Nataro's got 19 assists, and Jockstrot has 28 saves. Jockstrot from Sketch Squad and Nataro from Nightmare as well. Feeding the ball to Gaherpaderp. 19 assists for Nataro, 21 goals for Gaherpaderp. Not bad stat lines there for Nightmare. In Master, Elite, top 15 teams, only separated by 4 games, so still very much in play as to who the best players or best teams might be in that Elite tier. The Pit from, oh man, I just had the franchise name in my brain and now it's gone. It just escaped. Woo! Right out of my head. Good thing I still have this spreadsheet up, isn't that right? The Thrashers from the Pit. That's why I'm struggling, because I wrote the wrong thing down. Thrashers at 13-3. They're the top spot. And then Pylons from Roadwork Ahead. They are the only team to go 8-0 in their division games in the Elite tier. Sitting at 12-4. Leaders for Elite, Bladed Raptor, 22 goals from the Orcas. Knave with 18 assists for the Thrashers, and Rock Sauce with 37 saves from the Teddy Bears. Veteran, we talked about the Ravaging Rays and the Mellow Fellows, 14-2, both the top veteran tier. Ravaging Rays, another one that is 8-0 in their divisional games, and we talk about these divisional games, and it's something that I've always liked to highlight when looking at schedules, especially down the stretch or kind of midway through the season. You look at these teams that are successful or unsuccessful in their divisional games and what that means for their playoff runs, because if you can win your division, you've got an easy way into the playoff. But, sometimes it comes down to you've got teams that whoop up on their divisions and make their way into a playoff that then they end up running into stronger competition. It's such an interesting thing to look at these teams play each other within their divisions and how that affects their seeding into the postseason. But having a strong early schedule, because you play 8 of your 16 divisional games in these first 4 match days, having a strong first quarter of your schedule can make the rest of your season so much easier, because if you can lock down that division, then you've got a much clearer path to your playoffs. And in my opinion, getting to the dance is the most important thing. You figure everything else out from there. So Pylon's definitely in a good spot in Elite, and Ravaging Rays and Vet both at those 8-0 in division. Top 10 teams in Veteran, all separated by 4 games. And then our leaders, BLT from the Ravaging Rays, 29 goals. Chillin from Azalea, 20 assists. And 42 saves for Ban This One too from the Possessed. And those are your stat leaders for Vet. Next up is Rival. We talked about Cassowary, saw them alone atop the tier. Speed Demons, they are 4th overall, 12-4, but they're the only team in Rival to go 8-0 in their division games so far. There are top 8 teams, all within 4 games in that Rival tier, and then it's Hyper from the Cassowaries, 24 goals, the leader in Rival. Assists leader is Burger 101 with 20 from Iris and Flower Road. And then it's Lilo with 31 saves from the Quads and the Quad Dynasty, your Rival saves leader. Next up is Challenger, Lilac, sole possession of first place. The Curians, the only ones at 8-0. They're 12-4. Top 16 teams, literally half of the tier, all within 4 games of first place for Challenger. Very close affair in Challenger so far. We'll see if that continues to hold up for the rest of the season. And then our stat leaders, Covey with 25 goals for the Lions. JME with 17 assists for Apple Associates, and Zippy the Gnome with 29 saves for Slow Starfish. Moving on to Prospect, Spastics alone in first place, 13-3. The top 6 teams in Prospect are within 4 games, and then one of our little fun facts: the Pharaohs, they are 5-11 at the bottom of the table in Prospect. They are the best to worst team, as in the last place team, but they have the highest record of all of the last place teams across the league. That is every tier. Goal leader is XD Dylan 591 from Black Tips. He's got 27 goals, 14 assists for Zur from the Black Tips as well, and then 36 saves for Stick Is Bad from the Pharaohs. Contender, led by Ice from the Elements. They're 11-5 on top, and then kind of a reverse of the last fun fact. At 11-5, Ice is the worst best team in the league. The first place team with the worst record across the whole league. And our leaders in Contender, Sakuda from the Rad Lads has the lead in goals and saves. 21 goals, 24 saves, and then it's Schmellet with 14 assists for the Cheese Pizza. And then last but most certainly not least is Amateur. Hyenas have got themselves 3 games clear in first place. That is the largest first place margin in the league. They're 13-3, and there's not anybody within 3 games of them in Amateur. So it's really not any surprise to hear that the goals and saves leader for Amateur is Zero Funds, 31 games, 18 assists a player for the Hyenas. Or 31 goals, 18 saves, pardon me. And then Rennie Boy with 16 assists for the Astro Amber Ales. And that is kind of our leaders. And now I want to pull up the awards for our Week 1. These are our Player of the Week and Franchise of the Week awards. I'm not going to read every name off of here. I'll go through MVPs and maybe our top players, or the ones that we haven't already talked about, just to save my voice a little bit and save your ears. So Premier here on the screen. Gav, the overall MVP. Rizai, second overall. Wolf in third. Talked about Gav's goals lead, Gray's assists lead, Brody's saves lead. Rise got 2.75 goals generated. Gavalanche with 484 average score, and Gray with 4.88 shots on average. Your premier Week 1 players of the week. Master, next up, Maki, the overall MVP. Probably should let you all see these, shouldn't I? There we go. We'll go back to Premier, just so you can see all of them. Okay, now that you've read all of them, we're going back to Master. Maki, the overall MVP. Frenchie, second. And General Zippy, third. Nataro, we already talked about. So, Maki has got to be other name for Herpaderp. There we go. Figure that one out. Although, no, never mind. Because this is Week 1. The stats that I read are cumulative Week 1 and Week 2. This is just Week 1 players of the week. Don't let my confusion confuse you. Okay. Goals, Week 1. Nataro had the most assists. And 2.38 goals generated for Nataro as well. 0 had the most saves. There's the rest for Master. We'll go next into Elite. Week 1 player overall MVP is Rock Sauce. Second place was Nero. And third place, Thy Chad. 551 average score for Rock Sauce at number 1. Tinsel, number 2 there on the list at 3.20 saves. It's a pretty big save gap between second and third place, 3.20 and 2.5. Next is Veteran. Overall MVP, Saucy Rexy. Second place, I'm Super Great. And third place, BLT. Week 1 Veteran Players of the Week. Riv Dog up there with the most saves, 2.67 on average. Nathan's got the most shots, 4.13. Couple other names. Weep, 1.5 goals a game. Pretty tight race there for the best striker in Veteran, but lots of good stuff there. 3 players all at 2.50 goals generated. Rexy, Mario, and BLT. We'll go next to Rival. You'll notice my name's not on this list. It's a very sad day, but this is how it goes. At this point in the season, last season, I wasn't even on a team, so still room to grow. Overall MVP for Rival is Fish. Second up, Pop FGF. And third, WP Merciless for Rival Week 1 Players of the Week. Fish led the way in goals. Berger saw him leading the way overall in assists. It's Mia highest. We got a 3-way tie for highest between It's Mia, Fish, and Berger, all at 2.50 goals generated. Violux has the highest saves a game on average, 2.67. Chung with 5 shots. That is Rival. After Rival, we've got Challenger, Covey, the overall MVP, YT Explicit, second place, and Ruthel at third. Only Jammer, the number 1 assister in Challenger in Week 1. Explicit had 3.13 goals generated, 2 goals scored. Strut, JME, and I'm the Most Humble, all with the 2 saves on average. But YT Explicit looking like the clear Golden Boot winner for Challenger, maybe. Clear Golden Boot favorites going into the rest of the season. Next to Prospect. Overall MVP for Week 1 of Prospect is Mangy. Then it's M80 and Lim in second and third. Mangy topping the board only in the score category. And then it's Stick is Bad and saves. Dylan and shots. Fluffy and Fat, 2.17 goals generated. Alex Tross, 1.40 assists. And it's M80 had the lead with average goals, 1.71. Contender next up. Overall MVP Week 1 was Sakuda. Not surprising based on the stats that we heard from them cumulatively so far through 4 match days. These are just through 2. Second place is Bernatra. Third place, Mark by 8. Sakuda leads the way in goals. X-Gen leading the way in assists. Great Honda and Coach Jimmy both at 2 saves on average. Sakuda leads that the shot category as well for Contender. Players of the week there for Contender. And last up, Rival. This is just for the players at least. Overall MVP, 0 funds. No real surprise there. Second place, Most Bravo. Third place, Only Slim. Rennie Boy up there as well in a few of these categories. Your Bad Kitty Cat, number 5. 1.13 goals on average. Emily, 26, 21, 0. 1.50 saves a game. Yerp's on there for shots, 2.75. Shots on average, 1.88 goals generated on average for Yerp. Those are your amateur week 1 players of the week. Teams of the week. First overall, the Astro Amber Ales from amateur for week 1. Second place is the Cassowaries. They are from Rival. And then the Orcas. If I'm not mistaken, the Orcas... Man, I should know this off the top of my head, and I don't. Now I look silly. Orcas are an elite for Whale Defense. Top 3 teams there. See all of the average stats. French Vanilla on top of the league in week 1. 6.25 saves on average. Shot differential plus 5.63 for both the Gummy Bears and the Cassowaries. Only 0.63 goals allowed for the Cassowaries. Water also sub 1 there at 0.88 through week 1. 4 teams over 4 goals on average scored. Hyenas, Astro Amber Ales, Lions, and Dapper Dolphins all scoring 4 or more. Those are your teams of the week through week 1, and then your franchises of the week through week 1. First overall, the Reef. Second overall, Safari, and then the third overall, Flower Road. And all of their respective breakdowns there. 70.8 win percentage for the Reef, 69.6 for Safari, and 66.1 for Flower Road. All atop the league right now. And those are our kind of hot starters through the first 2 match days. We'll have more of these stats to be able to talk about as the season goes on. Big shout-outs to our recognition committee putting all this together. I'd also like to continue to loop in stuff from power rankings. I didn't have time to put it in a way that would be acceptable to put it on stream for this week, but for next week, we'll see what we can do. And that is our hot starters. So now we're going to go to the point where I'm going to start to wind down a little bit. We've kind of recapped our start to this season, the things that have gone on, the results that have happened. We've had matches on stream each night, Monday and Wednesdays. Lots of representation from the amateur tier so far, which has been really great to see, even though it's led to me telling a team that they have to wait for other teams to play on stream before they can play on stream again. Never my favorite thing to do, to tell people that they're not allowed to until other people do, but I also want to make sure that the love gets spread around and everybody that wants a chance to play on stream has that chance. I am a very strong proponent, obviously, as the media committee head, I should be, of playing on stream to prepare your team for playoffs. I think it is a huge, very underlooked part of the holistic experience of RSC is when you get to the playoffs and you get to the finals, you've got to play on stream. There's no way to get around it. If you haven't prepared mentally, emotionally, playing on stream to that point in the season, you end up championship game, best of 7, and you're on stream for the first time. You don't want to have those jitters be the difference between a W and a loss in a championship game. Those little Discord trophies mean a lot, so you want to make sure that you and your team are as well equipped as possible to play on those final streams. So that means if you're a captain and you're listening, you're a GM and you're listening, tell your teams and your captains to sign up to play on stream. RSC official stream signups in the Discord is where you can chat with your opposing captains to get those games locked in, and then we have you on stream. It's a fun time. Everybody benefits. I think everybody should do it. I would love to find some way to get everybody on it at some point over the course of a season. I haven't figured out a way to do that yet because it's also very late, which is totally understandable, and we have, we've got a very set time that we play. So when we ask players if they want to go a little bit later, I definitely can understand why some people opt not to. But again, it's another part of it. If you want to have that ultimate success in RSC, you want to win a championship, you're going to have to play on a stream game that's later than normal 10 o'clock start time at some point towards the end of the season. So getting it done early, getting it done often, and getting used to it is, I think, only in everybody's benefit. But that's not a new thing. Stream's been around for a while. A thing that is new, or it is now Season 2 of it being new, the RSC Dev League. I always want to shout this out because it is a great opportunity for RSC to continue to grow. It's basically pre-scrim 6-mans that are open to everybody to be able to queue into, be placed onto teams according to the players that sign up and your skill level, your MMR that we have in RSC. Queue up, play a set of 4 games, just like a regular... Actually, you play a best of 3, pardon me. I remember how Dev League works. Play a best of 3 against the other set teams, and then all those stats are tracked. It's for fun right now, but we let we keep track of all of those, and then your top 6 players all get to play on stream at the end of the season to determine the Dev League champions. So definitely a good thing. Just 4 games. I can't remember. I know that we went back and forth between it initially if it was like just 3 games, a 4-game series. Okay, I played it in a little bit last season, and then I didn't for a while, so it's gone out of my head. So yeah, it's I recommend it. I had a great time in the times that I played it. It's a great warm-up for pre-scrims if you're one of those people that needs 3 hours to warm up before you start playing. It's also a great opportunity for if you're a free agent to have more data collected on you for other GMs to be able to see around the league, give you more of a shot to be able to get signed to a team, as well as play with other players that might give you a shout out on with their management as far as getting you signed to their teams. Another thing that is new with RSC here in Season 20, we've got the Clip of the Week is back and being run by our wonderful recognition committee, people, social media team as well. And we will actually talk a little bit more about the Clip of the Week just in a little bit here. We might even see a Clip of the Week, potentially, if the video plays. But we've got submission forms open and active, so make sure that you are at least aware of that. Clipping things that you're hitting in your RSC matches. We want match clips, not scrim clips. Please don't send us your scrim clips. If everybody sent us their scrim clips, we would have so many clips. Send us your match clips, please. Nasty saves, shots, goals, whatever. Send them in, get them submitted, so that way we can pick them. We've got a panel of judges that go through all the submissions every week, pick out their favorites, and then they get edited together to form our Clip of the Week package. We'll watch the Clip of the Week Week 1 package here in a few moments. But to kind of piggyback off of that one, we really want you to submit your clips, because even if you don't get picked to be on the Clip of the Week, your pick isn't selected, you still have a chance to be featured on a video on our socials. We're going to be starting a new series called Guess That Tier, where we'll use clip submissions from people who put in clips for Clip of the Week that didn't win, didn't make it into the video. We're going to pick out a few more of those ones that didn't make the final cut, put it into a second video that we will then put out to our fan base, or maybe just put out the individual clips, where we want our community to try to guess what tier the clip is from. We're going to start posting it this coming week, so it'll be starting on Tuesday next week. Tuesday and Thursday on the RSC TikTok is where you can find those Guess That Tier clips, so make sure that you're keeping an eye there. If you're not following the TikTok, if you're not following the Twitter, if you're not following the Instagram, make sure that you are doing all of those things. If you're not following the Twitch, while we're sitting here watching on Twitch, I don't know what you're doing, please also do that, but especially the Twitter, the Instagram, the TikTok. We've got a lot of people working really hard behind the scenes to make those platforms grow, give you something to engage with, because to this point, it's been a lot of inconsistency, and that is something that we want to continue to tighten the screws on and continue to improve. So go make sure you are engaging on those platforms. Lots of great stuff coming out. I see memes from K-Flip every day that either make me feel very self-aware or make me laugh very hard. Sometimes they make me do both. Sometimes they're about me, sometimes they're about other people, but they're always very funny. So definitely make sure that you're tuning in to all of our socials. And then I think the last thing that I had on the docket to talk about what's new and upcoming is the RLCS LAN that's coming to Dallas. There is a chat in the RSC3's server, Dallas Worlds, where we've got some community members that might potentially be coordinating to meet up there at the RLCS LAN in Dallas. So make sure that if you are at all interested in that, got plans to go watch the RLCS Worlds and meet up with RSC people, that is a place to do it. I've been informed that Carnage actually does all of the memes, so Carnage, your memes are fire. K-Flip, you're not boring. You are the grease that keeps this engine running, and we couldn't do it without you, but there's a lot of things that we couldn't do without a lot of people. Clip of the Week is one of those things that is, it is a community effort in the sense that it takes a few people to vote on the clips. It takes somebody to edit them. It takes, all of the organization to get the clips out. But one thing that we've always run into with Clip of the Week that, we have what feels like demand for. People are saying, hey, you should do a Clip of the Week. We'll send you things, whatever. The balance is always hard to strike between having enough clips to make Clip of the Week and having too many clips and not being able to edit them. Right now, we are in the position of we want the clips. Please send us your clips. We're not in the position of having too many clips yet. So please continue to send them, because in order for us to continue to edit and make the videos, we need you to send in the clips. So even if you feel like it's mid, even if you feel like it might not be good enough to win, get in, you'll have opportunities to be on the Guess That tier. Everybody, and I say it frequently with my own gameplay, blind squirrels find nuts all the time in this game. So opportunities abound for you to be featured on socials these days. And with that being said, we're going to take a look at our first features on our socials now. The Clip of the Week. It is brought to you by the Recognition Committee for RSC. I'm going to shut my mouth. We're going to roll it. There it is, a Clip of the Week 1 for the first week of RSC Season 20. Shout-outs to the social media subcommittee that is getting all that stuff put together. Tech4, Boa, K-Flip, Carnage Wolfbite. There's more people that I'm sure I haven't said, but lots of people putting in a lot of hard work to get those things put together and out to all of you in the community. It is only good stuff. Party Shark is doing all the edits. That is arguably the hardest part, to the part that requires the most expertise and ability and the most extra time to put in. So shout out to Party Shark. Big props to them for getting those edited and getting all that together. Shout outs to Boss for getting all of the graphics for on stream put together for me this week. He is not here right now because he is out visiting his dad for his birthday, I believe, was what I was saying. So happy birthday to Boss's dad. And we're 10 minutes ahead of schedule, which I don't think is a bad thing. We got our whip around done. We talked about some new stuff. Talked about our leaders so far. I know we didn't go quite as in depth because it was just me sitting here. And I definitely didn't do all of my research in the hour before we went live. Totally not. Definitely not. I was very, very prepared for this. And I'm very much looking forward to the things that are coming for RSC Season 20. We've, always got things in the pipeline that are coming right now. The big thing that might be cropping up soon is the Twos League, the resurgence of the Twos League. There is going to be decisions on the new crop of admins for the Twos League very soon. So if you're a Twos fiend, make sure that you are on the lookout for that announcement once that is official, because that's going to be coming back very soon. Dev League still running. I believe right now even there was a 1v1 Heat Seeker tournament being run by the events committee. So all kinds of things happening in RSCs. We're a quarter of the way through Season 20. And I can't wait to see what the next 3 quarters of the season have in store for us. I won't be at LAN in Dallas, but I hope that all of you will send good vibes to the people who aren't there from LAN. And yeah, it's been a great start to the season. Next week, we'll be back regular time, regular place, Sundays at 9. There'll be more people than just me. Boss will be back. I'll probably be here, and who knows who else might be here. It could be anybody. It could be nobody. It could just be me and Boss. But so that bridge will be crossed when we come to it. And I'm going to stop talking before I talk for another 9 minutes and make it a full hour. Thank you guys all for hanging out with me tonight. My name's been HUDx. It's been a pleasure. I will see all you guys on the next one. Peace.